Ever wondered why some people seem unshaken by criticism or public opinion? Dive into the world of Stoicism, where the great philosophers like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca taught us how to live a life untethered by the judgments of others. Watch now to uncover the Stoic secrets to inner peace and mental clarity, and learn why for Stoics, the only opinion that truly matters is your own. To delve deeply into why Stoics don't care about what others think, we need to explore the philosophy's core tenets, historical context, psychological insights, and practical applications in modern life. Here's an expansive exploration. Stoicism, founded in Athens by Zeno of Citium around 300 BC, has resonated through the ages, influencing leaders, thinkers, and ordinary individuals alike. At its heart, Stoicism teaches that the path to a good life lies in understanding what we can control and what we cannot, with particular emphasis on our internal states. The core Stoic beliefs. Virtue as the highest good. Central to Stoic philosophy is the belief that virtue, the cultivation of moral excellence, is the highest good and the ultimate aim of life. The Stoics define virtue as consisting of four cardinal virtues. Wisdom, the ability to understand what is truly good, bad, and indifferent, and to make rational, informed decisions. Courage, the mental strength to act rightly in the face of adversity, fear, or difficulty, maintaining moral integrity even in challenging situations. Justice, the pursuit of fairness and the commitment to contribute to the well-being of others, upholding moral principles in all relationships. Temperance, the practice of self-control, moderation, and balance in all aspects of life, especially in relation to desires and impulses. Stoics argue that everything else, health, wealth, fame, pleasure, and external approval, are indifferents. They do not inherently contribute to happiness or virtue and should not be pursued for their own sake. While these things can be preferred or enjoyed, they are secondary to virtue. In essence, only virtue leads to true flourishing or eudaimonia, human flourishing, while everything else is neutral in terms of moral value. Control what you can, dichotomy of control. One of the most famous and practical ideas in Stoicism is the dichotomy of control, which asserts that there are two categories in life, things we can control, and things we cannot. What we can control, our own thoughts, attitudes, and actions. These are within our sphere of influence and the only things that can truly be shaped through effort, reason, and self-discipline. What we cannot control, external events, other people's actions and opinions, natural phenomena, and the course of history. These are beyond our direct influence and, therefore, should not be the source of our emotional attachment or distress. The Stoic wisdom lies in focusing energy and attention on what we can control, our own internal states. While accepting with equanimity that we cannot control the external world. This acceptance leads to inner peace and the ability to face life's uncertainties with grace. Nature of the universe, living according to nature. The Stoics believe the universe operates according to a rational and divine logos, a kind of universal reason or natural law that governs everything in existence. This order is benevolent in nature, meaning that, ultimately, everything that happens contributes to the greater good, even if it might not appear so in the moment. As part of this worldview, Stoics maintain that we should strive to live in harmony with nature, living according to nature. This means recognizing our place in the cosmos and aligning our actions with reason, justice, and the pursuit of virtue. Life events, both good and bad, are seen as part of the larger natural flow, and Stoics cultivate acceptance of what is. This concept is encapsulated in the idea of amor fati, love of fate, which encourages embracing whatever happens in life, not merely enduring it but actively welcoming it as necessary to the unfolding of the whole. Whether success or hardship, every experience is an opportunity for growth and virtue, and there is no event, no matter how painful, that falls outside the benevolent order of the universe. Emotional resilience, apatheia. One of the most powerful elements of Stoic philosophy is the idea of emotional resilience, which stems from the pursuit of apatheia, a state of being free from destructive emotions or passions. Importantly, apatheia does not mean indifference or apathy in the modern sense, but rather the freedom from being disturbed by external events or irrational emotions. Stoicism teaches that emotions such as anger, fear, jealousy, and grief arise from incorrect judgments about external events. For example, we might feel anger when we believe that we've been treated unfairly, or fear when we anticipate future harm. However, these emotional responses are seen as distortions of reality, rooted in our own judgments rather than objective facts. Through reason and reflection, we can learn to reshape our perceptions and reactions. Emotional resilience is cultivated by recognizing that our peace of mind is not contingent on external circumstances, but on our ability to respond to them with rational thought. The Stoic goal is not to suppress feelings but to master them through understanding, and to act in ways that align with virtue and rationality, rather than being driven by uncontrolled impulses or fears. Together, these four core Stoic beliefs form a framework for living a life of virtue, wisdom, and inner peace, regardless of the unpredictable nature of external circumstances. The Stoics teach that by focusing on what we can control, our virtues, thoughts, and actions, we can navigate the ups and downs of life with equanimity and resilience, ultimately finding contentment in the pursuit of virtue itself. Why Stoics don't care about what others think. The theory of indifference. One of the central tenets of Stoic philosophy is the distinction between things we can control and things we cannot, which includes the opinions and judgments of others. The Stoics categorize external judgments, whether positive or negative, as preferred indifference at best. While external validation can be pleasant or beneficial, it is not essential for living a good or virtuous life. Stoics maintain that true fulfillment and happiness come from internal goods, specifically virtue, which is within one's own control. External judgments as indifference. To the Stoics, the opinions of others fall into the category of indifference, meaning they are neither good nor bad in themselves. They do not contribute to our moral excellence or personal growth. While social approval might bring short-term pleasure or material benefits, it does not lead to lasting happiness. In Stoic thought, only virtue, wisdom, courage, justice, temperance, can produce genuine and lasting contentment. The Stoics recommend that we seek approval only insofar as it aligns with virtuous actions, such as acting justly or courageously, but not for the sake of others' praise. Virtue as the true reward. The Stoics emphasize that the true reward for virtuous action lies in the act itself and in the alignment of one's actions with reason and moral integrity, not in the approval or recognition of others. For instance, if you act kindly or justly, that action in itself is good and fulfilling, regardless of whether others notice or commend it. The Stoic focus is always on doing the right thing for its own sake, not for external rewards or recognition. Psychological freedom. One of the most profound aspects of Stoic philosophy is its emphasis on psychological freedom, which arises from detaching one's happiness and well-being from the opinions or approval of others. Freedom from opinion. By not seeking or being overly concerned with the opinions of others, Stoics achieve a form of psychological independence. This isn't about being antisocial, rude, or indifferent to others' feelings, but rather about liberating oneself from the tyranny of external validation. To be obsessed with what others think is to give away control over one's own emotional state. By practicing indifference to others' judgments, a Stoic maintains inner peace and emotional resilience. This is not an invitation to ignore the welfare of others, but rather to avoid allowing their opinions to dictate your sense of self-worth. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus puts it, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Self-sufficiency, autarkia. A core Stoic value is autarkia, or self-sufficiency, achieving a state where one is independent of external circumstances for happiness and fulfillment. For a Stoic, happiness is not contingent on having a favorable opinion from others or acquiring external success, but on living a virtuous life guided by reason. This doesn't mean rejecting relationships, friendships, or community involvement. Rather, it means not relying on these external sources for your inner peace or self-esteem. The Stoics' happiness is rooted in their own virtue and their ability to act according to reason and moral principles. When a person is self-sufficient in this sense, They are not emotionally swayed by the changing tides of external praise or criticism. Their emotional state is secure because it is anchored in something solid and unchanging, their own moral character. The Stoic path to inner peace. The Stoic practice of not caring about what others think helps cultivate deep inner peace and freedom. Instead of seeking constant approval or fearing disapproval, Stoics focus on cultivating virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, qualities that lead to a resilient and contented life, no matter what external circumstances arise. By recognizing that the only true measure of worth lies in one's internal character, the Stoic can confidently navigate social life without being governed by the need for external validation. This allows them to engage with the world compassionately and effectively, without being emotionally enslaved by what others think or say. Ultimately, for the Stoic, it is far more important to live authentically according to virtue than to win the approval of others. This is not to say that Stoics are indifferent to others' well-being or feelings, rather, their goal is to act justly and kindly, but without the attachment to how those actions are perceived. In summary, the Stoics' indifference to the opinions of others is not an invitation to become selfish or isolated, but rather a call to cultivate a life rooted in virtue and self-control. Through this practice, Stoics achieve psychological freedom, allowing them to be unshaken by praise or criticism and to focus instead on what they can truly control, their own actions and moral integrity. Practical application of Stoic beliefs. Stoicism offers a rich framework for living a virtuous, resilient, and peaceful life, especially in an age where external judgments and social pressures can easily disrupt our emotional equilibrium. Here's how Stoic principles can be applied in everyday life. 1. Daily reflections. One of the most powerful practices of Stoicism is daily reflection. Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius set aside time each day to meditate on their actions, thoughts, and role in the world. This practice of self-examination encourages an individual to reflect on their duties and responsibilities while maintaining a detachment from the desire for external approval. How to apply: take a few minutes each morning or evening to reflect on your actions, your intentions, and how you can align your behavior with your values. Ask yourself questions like: what are my roles today? How can I fulfill these roles with integrity and virtue, regardless of how others perceive me? Am I focusing on what I can control, and letting go of things beyond my control? How will I respond to challenges or criticism today? This daily practice helps you stay grounded in your values and focused on internal growth, rather than on external validation. 2. Role ethics. Stoicism teaches that we all play multiple roles in life, whether as citizens, parents, friends, co-workers, or leaders, and we should focus on performing these roles well, without concern for others' judgments. According to Stoic philosophy, our moral duties are defined by the roles we occupy, and we should strive to fulfill these roles with excellence, integrity, and virtue. How to apply: identify your roles in life and approach them with the same sense of responsibility and commitment that the Stoics recommended. Whether you're interacting with your family, colleagues, or community, aim to act with justice, kindness, and wisdom. Focus on doing your best, not on how others may perceive your actions. For example, a Stoic parent might focus on providing love and guidance to their children rather than seeking to impress others with their parenting style. 3. Emotional equilibrium. Avoiding the trap of vanity. One of the greatest dangers of caring too much about what others think is that it can lead to feelings of vanity, envy, and the fear of loss. The Stoics believe that we should avoid being swayed by the opinions of others, as they are ultimately outside our control. Instead, Stoics aim for equanimity, a state of emotional balance that allows them to remain calm and rational, regardless of external events. How to apply: practice mindful detachment from the need for external approval. If you notice yourself feeling envious or vain about the recognition others receive, remind yourself that those things are indifference and do not contribute to your moral character. Cultivate a sense of self-sufficiency, where your sense of worth is anchored in your own values, not in how others perceive you. Premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. A powerful Stoic practice is to mentally prepare for adversity, including social rejection or criticism. By imagining the worst-case scenarios and mentally rehearsing how you will handle them with composure, you can reduce the emotional sting of unexpected challenges. How to apply: take time each day to reflect on potential challenges you might face. This could include being judged negatively by others, facing rejection, or encountering difficult situations at work or in personal relationships. Mentally rehearse how you would respond in these situations, focusing on grace, patience, and self-control. By preparing for these eventualities, you will be less likely to be caught off guard or emotionally shaken by external opinions. 4. Historical examples of Stoic wisdom. Seneca. Despite his immense wealth and powerful position as an advisor to Emperor Nero, Seneca wrote extensively about the importance of living in accordance with reason and virtue, rather than societal expectations. He frequently reminded his readers that external circumstances, like wealth, fame, or social status, were not reliable sources of happiness. Instead, he advocated for focusing on inner character and the cultivation of wisdom. How to apply: like Seneca, you can strive to detach from the desire for status or external achievement. Whether in a leadership role or in a personal context, try to focus on making ethical decisions based on reason, rather than on the desire for public approval or praise. Epictetus. Epictetus, a former slave, became one of the most influential Stoic philosophers by emphasizing that what matters in life is not what happens to us but how we respond to it. He taught that we should avoid being swayed by the opinions of others, and instead, focus on cultivating an inner resilience rooted in virtue. How to apply: when facing social pressures or public scrutiny, remind yourself of Epictetus's teachings. Ask yourself, what is within my control right now? How can I respond with integrity and wisdom? This mindset will help you maintain your emotional stability and resist being overly influenced by what others think or say. 5. Modern relevance. Stoicism is not only relevant to ancient philosophers but has practical applications in modern life as well, especially in areas like leadership, personal well-being, and mental health. In leadership, modern leaders can benefit from Stoic principles by focusing on ethical decision-making and long-term values, rather than seeking short-term popularity or approval ratings. Stoic leaders do not let public opinion dictate their choices but instead act with integrity, fairness, and a focus on the greater good. How to apply: as a leader, strive to make decisions based on what is right, not what is most popular. Cultivate resilience in the face of criticism or opposition, and remain steadfast in your commitment to ethical leadership. Focus on virtue and wisdom as your guiding principles, rather than on external accolades or approval. In personal life. In today's age of social media, where validation is often measured by likes, comments, and followers, Stoic principles are invaluable. Stoicism teaches us to be immune to the pressures of digital validation and to ground our sense of self-worth in our actions and values, not in external metrics or fleeting attention. How to apply: when engaging with social media, practice detachment from likes or comments. Instead of allowing them to dictate your emotional state, focus on posting content that aligns with your values and serves a greater purpose. Recognize that social media is a reflection of others' views and not a true measure of your worth. In therapy and well-being. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, which is used to treat various emotional and psychological issues, shares many principles with Stoic thought. CBT focuses on how our thoughts shape our emotions and behaviors, similar to how Stoics believe our judgments, or perceptions, of events, rather than the events themselves, determine our emotional responses. How to apply: in moments of distress or self-doubt, apply Stoic principles to manage your thoughts and reactions. Practice identifying irrational thoughts or negative judgments and replace them with more balanced, rational perspectives. Use the Stoic idea of cognitive reframing to reinterpret situations in a way that aligns with your values, and recognize that you are in control of how you respond to external events. No file chosen. ChatGPT said. ChatGPT. Stoicism in practice today. Stoicism, though an ancient philosophy, has found renewed relevance in today's fast-paced, interconnected world. As we navigate the complexities of modern life, especially the constant external pressures from social media, work, and relationships, the Stoic principles offer a pathway to emotional resilience and inner peace. Below are some ways in which Stoicism can be practiced today, alongside its continued relevance for personal growth and well-being. 1. Meditations and journaling. One of the core Stoic practices, popularized by Marcus Aurelius in his personal writings, is the act of journaling and self-reflection. For modern Stoics, this practice often involves writing down their thoughts, goals, and reflections on the nature of their actions and experiences. What to journal? Start by reflecting on what you can control versus what you cannot. In your daily journal, distinguish between the things that lie within your sphere of influence, your thoughts, attitudes, and actions, and the external factors over which you have no control, such as the actions of others or the outcomes of events. This exercise reinforces the dichotomy of control, which helps you focus on taking responsibility for your own behavior and mindset rather than stressing over things you can't change. Focusing on virtue, modern Stoics often use journaling as a way to remind themselves of their virtues, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Instead of seeking external validation, your journal can help you reflect on whether your actions align with these values. The daily practice of writing allows you to reconnect with your moral compass and ensure that your behavior remains rooted in virtue, regardless of how others perceive it. 2. Stoic exercises. Stoics used various practical exercises to cultivate a mindset of tranquility and resilience. Some of these exercises have been adapted and continue to be relevant in today's world. Negative visualization, premeditatio malorum. This Stoic technique involves mentally rehearsing the worst-case scenarios, including the loss of things or people you value. The goal is not to dwell in pessimism but to prepare yourself emotionally